What made you lose respect for someone? When one of my childhood friends confessed to me that she had a physical relationship with a 14-year-old boy. She was 23 at the time. His parents threatened to call the police if she kept in contact with him and moved across the country. She still secretly talked to him for years after that. Turns out this wasn't the first kid she groomed and raped. I'll never respect a sexual predator. 23 years of friendship down the drain in less than a minute. I recently saw him and he told me how traumatized he was by what she did to him. If I ever see that bitch again, it's on sight. When one of my current roommates got political with me. He hates Republicans, but he's one of the biggest pieces of shit. He's a couch potato activist. He thinks repeatedly saying I hate Republican will make them disappear. That's all he does. He feels so entitled that he thinks that everyone should share whatever he wants. When he tried to find out whether I was a Dem or Rep, I mentioned that I don't consider myself either. He doesn't understand this, so he's convinced that I'm a Republican. He's 60 fucking years old. Grow up and quit being a whiny-assed American who just watches news and sits on the couch. When I found out my mother cheated on my dad. Lying, cheating, lying about cheating. John Cena sucking the CCP's dick. A few years ago Diane Sawyer lost my respect when she mocked a video of a young Muslim girl singing in a school talent show. Now I realize one's religion is often the rationalization for vitriolic hate, but to mock a talented child because of the faith she was raised in has to be shittiest form of hate there is. My father took out 2 credit cards in my name, then left me with the bill. When I confronted him about it, I got the "you have absolutely no respect for your elders." Also, when my uncle called my 8-year-old sister fat right to her face. I've never wanted to fight someone more in my life. I was seeing red. When I found out that my manager didn't hire someone because he was Arab. Meanwhile I gained a lot of respect for the dude who discovered this and quit over it. He is for Vararoi, the principal in my contacts. Wanting to fuck me. We're cousins. They don't give me respect back. I be nice to them, they don't do it back. I was a friend of theirs but they treat me like a shit. I had this friend in middle school, let's call him Gavin. He seemed to be a good guy. Cool. But then I got the news he beat up the autistic kid who was also my friend at the time. No one had any respect for him after that. And the autistic kid didn't even do anything to him in the first place. One of my friends said he was doing it to impress a girl. Me and Gavin aren't that close anymore because of the incident. Their actions and their words don't line up. A friend who couldn't get past being a dick for no reason. Me telling him that people's lives are already hard. Why are you making it harder for them? He voted for Trump. I have 2 examples. One is I met someone who seemed nice but then they started complaining about autistic people and using autism as an insult. And #X200B. Another was a longtime friend who kept ditching me but I stupidly kept forgiving him for it. He started hanging out with bad people. He asked me for help with finding people who weren't bad and I told him about the red flags I kept seeing. In turn he called me controlling. Fast forward he tells me about how one of his friends who in his words supported Hitler, and I told him straight up that if he was going to talk to a guy like that then I did not feel comfortable talking to him anymore. That's something I've never told him before, but this was so out of my comfort zone. He once again called me controlling, and said there was nothing wrong with his friend, despite just a second earlier complaining about how the friend is a neo-Nazi, and I had enough. Blocked him everywhere. I had lost all respect for him and it was very clear he had lost all respect for me too. Deleted. I not only always put in high tier weed while they put in mids to nothing and then asking for rides endlessly. Fast forward 2 years he has a car, never asked to pick me up and only had an UG when we did smoke. No more for me. Refused to get vaccinated. Refusing to spend $10,000 on treatment for their son even though they had the money for it. Unfortunately, the son eventually had to amputate his leg because of it. Lying and never following through on commitments. I mean for like 5 years, not just once in a while. My friend Tiffany had sex with her married best friend Clayton when his wife was pregnant with Tiffany's future godchild. Clayton then left his wife and infant child for Tiffany, and soon they had a baby of their own. That all happened in a year. Trashiest thing I've ever personally witnessed. I noped out. This shit show contacted me recently to see if I'm ready to be friends again. I replied, I did not set our friendship aside lightly. I threw it away with great force. Edit, added fake names for clarity. They put their pride and ego above being a good person. I had a friend in elementary school that I was very good friends with. He did two things which really broke the straw for me back then. Firstly, I had been building something in Minecraft for several months, which he blew up when I was busy. I was pissed for a while, but it was a game so I didn't stay mad. But one time where my father took us to play basketball, he was being a total asshole to my dad, and after that I stopped talking with him around middle school time. My boyfriend threw me a surprise birthday party for my 21st, and invited all my friends, which included one that lived 6 hours away. F21. She ended up coming, but wanted to make the whole night about her. She kept telling everyone I shouldn't drink because I get too messed up, kept complaining about how much she missed her 50-year-old fiancé, she kept including the age in order to also mention how more mature she was, and how it was rude that my BF's roommate didn't offer his room to her because his bed was larger. Even the next day when we got brunch, she kept complaining about how much she missed her fiancé, and that I should just get a box so she can take me home and go home herself. She managed to piss a lot of people off that night, but especially me. We had been friends for about 3 years, but that night really made me look at our so-called friendship in a brand new light. Constant self-loath and bickering. A priest that I once liked personally and held in high esteem confessed to being a pedophile/child molester and was defrocked. They badmouth people behind their back. Time. As I grew up, I realized my dad is an asshole and not the eccentric genius he thinks he is. George Soros is a very bad man, he's funding Black Lives Matter. Yup, that person basically died to me when they said that. It's a fellow climber, and I will make sure to never climb with that person ever again. Them not respecting anyone other than themselves. Top Gear presenters circa mid-2019. And hashtag X200B. They literally smashed up my dream car for fun. My classmates called a person stupid for committing suicide. I instantly lost respect for them. No one knows what that person might be going through. Dad ordered and drank a beer on vacation after years of loudly calling anyone who drank in the slightest an alcoholic and drunk, and talking about how evil alcohol is, yet when asked about it, says that it's fine for him. Classic do as I say not as I do. Later on he did become an alcoholic. Ironic that the same person who threw a fit that a cousin suggested holding a family reunion at a restaurant that had a bar would later drink. Boss told me at the last minute, he never approved my time off to attend a funeral, after he'd approved it by text, and that if I missed the shift I'd be fired. Grandparents said they thought I wasn't college material after they told me to go to college. Same grandmas above, after being vocally pro-life for 20 years, announced upon meeting my half-brother, a 3-year-old who isn't responsible for my dad being a man whore, that she now supported abortion and half-bro should have been aborted. And hashtag X200B. Edit, made clarifying edits. Apologizing for saying Taiwan was a country in Mandarin. I had a co-worker who was reported for sexual harassment. He genuinely didn't mean to offend her, but how he reacted totally made me lose respect for him. He would brag about how being reported to HR meant nothing and spread rumors that she was just crazy. When they won't/can't let you finish a sentence, it's generally an indication that they aren't listening and are just waiting for their turn to talk instead, but can't even wait. My former best friend who filled his social media with conspiracy theories and justifications for the attack on the Capitol. He went full COVID is a hoax, the vaccine is for mind control batshit crazy over the last year. When they silenced me from their community, because I said something 100% factual with proof to back it up. They didn't agree, however, and they proceeded to kick me from the community. Absolutely disgusting. They told me they used TikTok. Treating people who work minimum wage like crap for no reason. One trip to Starbucks had enough red flags to convince me I wanted nothing to do with this dude. They lost respect for people simply because they are religious. Religious people are a lot more than their religion. Voted for Brexit.